let's talk a little bit about business commitment. Business commitment. And this statement of business commitment has a double entendre. Because it doesn't matter what kind of business that you're in, whether you're in full-time ministry or you're actually in business where you're working and selling a product and you have goods and services. In order for there to be success, you have to be driven. I mean, if you really want to be successful, you have to be driven. And driven is a very important element because driven means that you're passionate about something. You're committed, you're passionate, and you're focused on that one item. And there's some people that do things just because they need a salary or they need an income, but they're not really driven or passionate for it. When you're passionate about something, you're going to be able to get that done, and you're focused on that. Everything you talk about, everything you do, everything you're focused on is specifically for the success of that one item, whatever that may be. And when you are pushed to that one item and people question you about that one item, that's what you're all about. That's what driven is. It doesn't take long for somebody to realize what your passion is about because it's going to come right out of your mind, right out of your mouth. It comes right out of your mouth. The things that you say, the way you act, it's all about that one item that you're about. And when you're focused on that, you'll go accomplish that which you desire. Now, it doesn't take long for you to fulfill what you're driven about. It takes a minimum of about 3 years. I want you to understand that. 3 years for you to see whatever it is that you're focused on, for it to become a reality. From the day that you start to the day that you see it in full force, about 3 years. That's something very, very important to know. There's an element, there's an element of truth behind that. It doesn't happen automatically. You may get something right away. You may jump right on it, but it takes those 3 years for it to be rooted in, to be dug down deep, for there to be some level of security. That's what's important to understand. So whatever it is that you're focused on, whatever it is that you have, you need to be driven to it and hang in there for 3 years. If for some reason you're doing something that's just taking a long time for you to get it done, I mean, you may not, I'm not saying in 3 years you're going to see all the fruits of it, but if you haven't seen any type of elements on it, you need to bury that thing, or you need to readjust yourself, because the chances are you may not have been completely driven by that one item. 3 years is what it takes for you to see the fruit, begin to see fruits of that one item that you're so driven by. 3 years for you to get there. And so I hope this encourages you, because I want you to know you might be right around the corner from you receiving what you're believing for. And if for some reason you don't see it, you need to ask yourself a question. Are you truly driven? Does it really drive you? Is it your passion, or is it just something to keep you busy? There's nothing wrong with being busy. There's a lot of things that I keep busy on. You know, there's a time when I went to Dallas, Texas. When I left the Rio Grande Valley, I wasn't really driven. I needed not to be driven. I was actually in a time of relaxation. I almost needed to detox, because I had given so much of my life for the ministry. When my father had passed away, I was in San Antonio, and then I find myself in the Rio Grande Valley. Never really intended to be there, and I decided I was going to be driven to succeed. So he passed away mid-2000. I picked up the ministry in 2001. Within 3 years, I'm in Dallas, Texas. 3 years, because I saw the fruition. I was driven passionately to build, to anchor, to make sure that ministry would not fail. What a lot of people did not know is during that season, that ministry was attacked by every sense of the word. We had people from within the ministry trying to take the ministry. I had bankers wanting to take the facility. I had people who wanted to take the TV stations. I had satellite people that were trying to destroy the satellite ministry. And it was all focused because because the enemy, or whatever it was trying to keep the church from being rooted. So my focus was to make sure that the church was rooted, needed to have a stability, so that way that it would continue. So I was driven for 3 years to make sure that that church that my father had planted would continue. So if you follow the timeline, August 2000, my father passes away. Actually, I think it was like July, the last day of July, he passed away. We buried him in August. Then, that's 2000. For several months from there, I was traveling back and forth. San Antonio, I had a church in San Antonio. So I had a church in San Antonio, pastoring the church in Harlingen, going back and forth, positioning myself. Took about 6 months to position it properly. And then at the beginning of the year is when I became driven to focus on Faith Please God Church in Harlingen. And the focus there was, Lord, who was to pastor this congregation? Because I know what my call is. I said, who was to pastor this congregation? And for those next 3 years, from 2001 to 2004, 3 years, the Lord positioned, and we positioned my brother, Pastor Kevin, who's the senior pastor now. He's been the senior pastor of the church for about 14 years now. And then in 2004, when I saw that when I saw 3 years, what I was committed to do become a reality, is when I turned it all over and moved on out to Dallas, Texas. A lot of people didn't understand what was going on. But now, when you look back and you look at the fruit that had taken place. I'm excited. I'm moved to emotion. I am moved to emotion when I think about the ministry in Harlingen, Texas. And when I see my brother and my sister-in-law on the pulpit there ministering the gospel, and I see what they're doing, and I see their successes, it moves me. That's their work. I wasn't there to take on the church and for me to be the senior pastor forever. A lot of people thought that. All I was a bridge to take it to the next level. Everything that I ever do is to take it to the next level. And I'm going to share on another message, another video about taking it to the next level. I hope you're enjoying these videos.